Howdy, howdy. How's everybody doing tonight? Are we going to finish it tonight? It's close. It's real close. It's so close I can taste it, but I'm not sure that we're going to get there tonight. But it might be ready to be pretty much ready to fly tonight if I spend a few hours on it. Maybe Monday or Tuesday or whatnot. There's always that little bit that gets you. Now, that's the hard part about doing this in the live stream is, you don't, it's hard to videotape all that stuff that, the last minute little details and stuff that you put into almost every build that you do. So, from balancing and, just all that little stuff, set the radio up. And so what I'm hoping to do tonight is I'm going to try to speed things up a little bit. We got to get the rudder on. So I'm going to, instead of using 30-minute epoxy, I'm going to go use 15-minute on that. That's not as important to use 30-minute epoxy on it, in my opinion. So we're going to start with that. And then while that's setting up, we're going to do the canopy. We're going to cut the canopy, glue our mascot in there, and get the canopy glued down. I got that all ready to go. Hopefully by the time I get that done, the epoxy's set up with the rudder, and we can add the little supports in there. These guys that are already covered. And so yeah, we got to get. But I don't have to work tomorrow. I actually don't have to work the next 3 days, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's been a long week. So anyways, me and Annabelle are gonna go out to the flying field. The Faith and Revive and Fly is ready to go. We started the motor up a couple nights ago. Woke all the neighbors up and all that, but it runs, and that's ready to go out to the flying field and get flown. And that's probably going to go off to a new home after that. But anyways, I'm going to get some flying done today. I might try to get the maiden voyage in on the Spitfire done tomorrow too. I haven't even looked at that thing, so before I go to bed tonight, hopefully it's a late night, and I can get that thing down here, and get the battery charging and stuff like that. But anyways, we left off last week. I think we got one of the servos installed in the wing, and I went ahead and did the other one. The wings are done. They are set up as far as I can go without the radio installed. I use my servo center to get everything done there. So those are done. As you can tell, we are on the assembly bench over here. We're not on the work table. I did try to clean a few things up over there, so I had to do a little bit of work to the Cougar. So it's ready to go out to the trailer. I want to fly it some more. Getting ready for the Sick Fun Fly. And anyways, let's get on to this thing and get this rudder put in, because epoxy takes a while to dry. Put the elevator on last time, so it's nice and secure, not going anywhere. Did show you something here real quick. I'll flip her up on her belly. Did overcut the sheeting here, or the covering here, a little bit. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to put dry stock back here underneath. I'll do that off camera. I'll make it pink so it matches the red or whatnot. Not a bad idea to add that kind of deal. And I got a little surprise for you up there towards the front when we turn this thing around here. So anyways, let's get started with this. Basically, the rudder assembly is super easy to install. Just going to slide it down in here. And what I do is I line it up with the top of the stringer back here. I'll get you in here a little closer. So if you line it up with this stringer here, you're going to be straight this way, right? That's what you want. Biggest thing is making sure we're straight this way. So let me get this thing set just a tiny bit more level here. It does help. That way you can kind of eyeball things. Anyways, when we do this, we got to strip the covering a lot like we did on the elevator. So we're going to line this guy up here. Remember, I marked these right and left, so we're going to put it right back where they need to be at. And then anyways, I'm going to line all that up. These are square blocks, so they're good there. You might be a little concerned about putting Sharpie on your plank because you're going to see it, but I got a fix for that. So I am going to take my Sharpie and do that. You still need bare wood down here. And then you won't be able to see me very well, but I'm going to do the same to the other side. Like I said, just kind of lining everything up here. If you wanted to T-pin this in place, you could. Okay. And we'll take this thing back apart. This is kind of what we're left with here. And I know this is outside the line, so I am going to cut just through the covering, and I'm going to leave the leading edge of it up here. Not that important that you get all of the covering removed, just the vast majority of it. Let's see how we... want to pull up nice and easy so you don't rip it and cause it to expose too much, and then you got covering repairs to make. So that's what I'm going to end up with, or something like that. Like I said, it doesn't matter that you get it all off. Just you want the vast majority of that center to be off, to be on, be off, removed, covering removed. Blah. If I can talk tonight. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and mix up our epoxy. We don't have to measure anything back here. We're just going to make it nice and true with the fuselage. And then, like I said, if a guy wanted to, he could pin some of this. I'm not going to do that. I got these. You guys have seen these guys before. They're weighted. You can use 1, 2, 3 blocks also to get a true 90. Going to be a little bit. It's more important that you get a true 90 than get it straight up and down. Like I said, if I can talk tonight. So I just made my little line there, and I'm just mixing that epoxy out with a piece of scrap stick. And then don't need to get a lot on here. You don't want a lot of excess. See if I can. If you use out, you got to clean it up, because otherwise you'll you will not be able to the side parts. I guess I'm gonna just have a hard time talking tonight. The braces, the wood braces that you put back here won't fit quite nicely. And of course, we're going to do both sides of the bottom down here, so that way we can get all that squared away. And then I'm going to add just a tickle of epoxy on the back side of the rudder back here, so that way gets epoxy to the back side of the elevator. And I kind of go in at an angle a little bit. That doesn't look too bad. Got a little bit of epoxy there to clean up. That's not bad at all. We're going to line this up with the and of course it's not going to want to stay. Let's see if we can do the short side. That's better. Okay. And then I got some clamps back here that I'm going to clamp the post in here, since I do have some gap back here, but it's not bad. Just want to make sure that she's staying at a 90. And like I said, I'm just lining it up with that top stringer here. It ain't gonna want to stay. Okay, then. Hey Trevor, how you doing? We are setting up the rudder on here. No, that's right, that's plywood. That's not bad. Yeah. I'm just going to throw a couple pins in here to make sure she's pinned down a little good. Okay. Recheck our alignment. Oh. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to let that cure for a little while. Okay, so first thing we want to do, now you're not going to fly your airplane and not put a pilot in it, right? Groping? What are we talking about in here? So, anyways, whatever you use for a pilot, I like to have fun. I get, this is like a McDonald's toy, and anyways, you want to make sure that now this guy's a plush toy, so I am going to use a generous amount of epoxy on his feet. And then we'll set him in place here. Now, a long time ago, I was watching a ad on reading Small Airplane News magazine, and it said, "Don't set your animals or your pilots looking dead on because it makes them look weird. Always put them at a little bit of an angle, so that way it's kind of looking off to one side or the other, and it makes the animal seem, or the pilot seem more alive, if you will." Okay, so we got that stuck down. I'm going to go ahead and add some CA in here. if you have a plastic animal, like a minion, like I like to use, or little kid's toy or whatever, drill a hole through the bottom of it and put a maybe maybe the next one. But anyways, if put a joystick in there, you can go as crazy as you want with these things. I usually just put them in there. But if you got like a little plastic animal, plastic, drill a hole up through his butt here on the bottom and put a piece of dowel rod in there, so that way he will not go anywhere, because it's nothing worse than drilling putting an animal in or a pilot in your plane, and a year later he's loose in there and you got to undo all your hard work. Okay, trimming time. You can spend as much time as you want on this. Basically, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera or not, but there is a line right here, and he goes all the way around, and it's all the way along the bottom here. And you want to trim that out. Now, you can use scissors if you want. I tend to kind of get it a little close. Start it back here in the corner where you're not even going to have it. And then sometimes trying to get some of this stuff to cooperate can get a little tedious. Having some big honking scissors that you can really pry on, kitchen scissors or whatnot, helps a lot. What I do is I'm going to cut the flange off. I'm not going to worry about the line. I'm not going to worry about getting it too terribly close. You get in a jam. So Dubro sells Lexine scissors. These are not them. I don't have a pair of them. This is my trimming for trimming canopies, and they're really, really tiny, and they're the curved end of them. I think these are for like doing toenails, to be honest. I'm not sure where I got them at, but anyways, for doing some of this stuff, they really help. Lexine scissors are practically the same. These help around these sharp corners and stuff to get rid of the flange. They do take a while because they're, obviously they're really, really short. Does anybody like to tint their canopies with Rit dye? Now I'm going about quarter to a half an inch away from the line here. Especially when I'm using these big scissors, because these scissors, like once you get them up inside the canopy, they'll tend to scratch it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, there it is. Right there on my fingertip. See how it scratched the hell out of it? So, stay away when you're doing your initial cuts. You can, get as close as you dare, but basically all we're looking to do is to remove 90% of the excess plastic here. Okay, I get around the top. And as you can see, it's not perfect. None of the cuts are, but let's see how it fits. If you were off a little bit on the degrees of this, that's why you don't want to take too much. You can see how much excess I got there. You also don't want any gaps down here. We really don't have any, but it is sitting a little proud, like it's up a little bit. So I'm going to take my Lexan scissors here, and I'm going to cut a little closer to the line, but I'm not going to go to it. What I'm trying to do here is just, like I said, get rid of some more of the excess, but you don't have to go, don't have to be perfect on this front. It'll look a little nicer if you get rid of, if you try to make this as clean of a cut as you can. That's where the big scissors come back. You can sand this stuff too. Am I boring you guys too much yet? I like how that looks. I got a little bit of excess back here, but it ain't bad. This will hide when you put it on. So now, because of the vacuum forming process of this, you can probably see it right about there across this bottom edge. It's a little deformed. That's from them stretching it over the form when they heat it up. So this we're going to want to take and get rid of a lot of that. Find the line and just start cutting. Get to the end of the round. These guys come in handy again. Just trimming it a little bit at a time, and then you'll end up with a really nice fitting canopy here. Alright, we're fitting really nice now. I want to look at it front to back, make sure it's kind of centered as you make adjustments here. We got a little bit of a gap right here at the bottom. So that tells me that this front needs to drop down some more. Yeah, it's like I said, as you do them, they do get easier, but they're not all the same. This is you know, with cutting to these lines and stuff, that's pretty, you know, something extra specific because of the way this canopy fits on here. Now, I would normally leave the flanges on here because I like to screw my canopies down. You can't do it on something extra. I've tried. There's not enough. You'd have to put some pretty ugly bracketry in here, and I can't stand that. So, like I said, just that little bit of trimming, and now we got a really nice seal all the way around here. Now, I bet you guys thought we were done sanding. I forgot a sanding disc. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll go get one. Okay. See all these little raised edges and stuff? You can sand them right off. Do not be concerned about sanding on your canopy, especially like on the ends. Yep. Always more sanding. In fact, there's a little bit more to do on the fuselage, and yes, it's covered and it's all done, but we'll get to that here in a little while. So anyways, that's from taking so many multiple small cuts around this edge, and you can do a combination of a little bit of sanding to smooth things out or whatnot. You guys were talking about maybe adding a joystick to this guy. It's got a joystick. Probably don't need to be very big. He ain't got a very long arm, does he? I'm only going to have one opportunity to do this. That's why we don't get done, because you guys keep making me do stuff like this. Just teasing. I don't know if I can get you down low enough. My workbench is a dang mess. It's a disaster area, and I had this all cleaned up just a little while ago. I'm not even sure what size this is. 3/16. Drill bit. But this is just going to add to a little bit of the realism of it. You know, I mean, I know it's a little puppy dog, but probably pretty dang old too. So let's give him a... Give him a little throttle quadrant on this side. Or would this be the joystick on like an F-18? Can't have one right in front of his face. That wouldn't make any sense. Right? Let's give it, let's see, up and right arrow line. Try not to drill through my hand here. We're making it crooked on purpose, right? Okay, he's stuck down. He ain't going nowhere. The next thing we need to do is get some canopy glue. Thanks to Tom, I got some of this evergreen stuff. I like it. It works pretty good. I've used RC56 too. It works okay too. Ain't nothing wrong with any of that stuff. Goes on white and dries clear. So, and also I forgot. I knew I was going to forget a few things. Need to grab a roll of tape. So anyways, gluing this guy on. I like to knead my bottle a little bit of canopy glue because this stuff tends to sit around a lot and not get used. I mean, I don't think I've ever emptied a bottle out. I think it's gone bad before I've ever emptied one out because this is a lot of canopy glue. I mean, you know, they could make some extra money and make a, what is this, a 2-ounce bottle, and make a 1/4-ounce bottle for each application, and charge $6 for it and probably make a killing. But don't give them any ideas. Anyways, knead it up a little bit. Take the bottle top off. This has been used. Yep. I'm not sure if the end's going to be all plugged up or not. I doubt it. No, we're good. And then we're going to stick this guy on here. And the biggest thing here is making sure that where we add glue is where it's going to actually be at. Now on the Somethin extra canopy, I put a nice little bead right around the rear former to get started. And then we're going to run a little bit up here. Remember, this stuff's dry as clear, so even though it's going on white and it looks like crap, like that, and then we'll set our canopy. I try to move it as little as possible. And then now you got blue painter's tape here. Put some tape on that. Now this is your last opportunity to kind of look at it and see, make sure she's looks pretty straight and narrow to me here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the edge here and put a nice little fillet right around the front. I'm just trying to get it in that little nook between the canopy. And that's kind of what you end up with, something like that. And then you might need to put a little bit more tape on the front. Try not to tape to the glue, because you will have a very hard time getting it off. So I do something like this and pull on it and make sure you're getting a good seat, and then just wrap her around. And then we'll let that sit there and dry. Now, I'm not sure. This stuff usually needs to dry for 24 hours, so we might not see a result till next weekend. Let's see what this stuff here says. Yeah, fully cured in 24 hours using temperatures above 55 degrees. I think I'm pretty sure that RC56 is the same. Now we're pretty dry already. Still a little ooey gooey, but we're getting there. I'm going to be pretty comfortable taking the pins out. I'm going to leave my clamps in the back. But Yep, still a little gooey here, but we got to get the pins out. That's why I don't like to pin things, because it's, as the epoxy dries, it gets kind of hard to get the pins out. But we're still pretty true there. So this is just a scrap piece of balsa wood. I'm just going to break that off, throw that away later. I'll spin my lid over here. You know what? I almost forgot something. Good thing I remembered. Now, if this was me doing it at home, I would leave this and for quite a few hours until I started messing with it again. Maybe getting that on there. Yep. Rinse and repeat on this. Got to get the covering off. Like I said, at least the vast majority of it. It ain't got it. It does not have to be perfect. It's just got to be some bare wood in there. I think my knife might be getting a little dull. I got it up, now I can't get my fingers on it. There we go. Like I said, some, not all. Let's do the other side here. Why is this thing just not cooperating with me? I'm trying to force it, and it's biting me in the butt here. I think I need another clamp. There we go. Okay. There we go. Like that. Okay. Got that on there. Boy, not popular tonight, eh? Final assembly. I mean, I I've done a few of them, and over the last 4.5 years, and there's a reason why nobody films it. Is because it's just not for some reason a popular subject. Oh, there we go. There's 5. So we're gonna put a liberal amount of epoxy on our balances here on our. I don't know what you want to call them, blocks, whatever. This is, and then I drop it. Yeah, it is. Well, there was 5 there for a minute, and then they left. So see how that nicely lined up and everything. That's part of the like taking your time sort of deal. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side. This adds a tremendous amount of strength to the tail end of the grouping, so don't leave it off. We're gonna let that set up. Thought I brought some paper towels over here, but evidently it didn't. Yeah, it's really quiet tonight. I don't know if it's just this weather we've been having has been beautiful, and I imagine there's probably a lot of guys out at the airfield right now. The live streams, as far as views and videos go and stuff, as far as views go and stuff. I mean, they've been dropping a little bit, but it wasn't not really much to speak of. That 4-stroke video has done extremely well. Pretty happy with that one. But yeah. Anyways, let me show you the front end of this. I get this this plane swapped around because at this point we just really need to leave that back end alone and let the epoxy do its thing. But check this guys out. I got a motor in there, but that's an electric motor. It should spin really freely, and it's not. So remember when I said we got more sanding to do? Well, I got it almost perfect, and I'm hitting right there on the spinner. The motor could have came out a little bit more when I initially did the box, but boy, does that! I mean, this is so smooth, and the black paint so shiny. I mean, for an electric airplane, that's a killer setup right there. That'll probably be the thumbnail. Look at this. Anyways, I'm going to do a little clearancing up here to get that clearance. Let's see, what else should we do? All that, because it can't do nothing, and everything's got to be back there in the tail. So, let's see. I can't really flip it over and work underneath of it. How about some soldering? So, remember when I was going back and forth on trying to figure out what connectors I wanted to go with, and the ESC has, well, it's just, I honestly think that the firewall's got a little bit of right thrust built into it, and I think that's why it's rubbing on the right cheek. Because I mean, when I set that thing up and measured it, it was perfect. It was dead center, and then when I bolted up, and there's a gap on the left side, but not on the right. So you could put a washer underneath of it and space the motor out a little bit more, but it really doesn't need it. So all I'm going to do is just stick my file in there and file it away till it's barely touching. In fact, it would probably self-clearance on its first startup, on the first engine run. It would probably make it. It would probably put the clearance in there for it, and it could be the epoxy thickness. Anyways, we had a pretty good discussion about what plug this was, and it was actually written on there that it's an EC5. And I've come to the conclusion I don't own anything with an EC5. I got Dean's plugs and I got XT60. So when I bought the battery, I bought an XT60N, so that way it's more universal around the airplanes. I use it more than I'm using it on just this one. But that means I got to, change the end out. I also that wouldn't be a bad idea to have a little bit more length, because what I plan on doing is looping this up into the engine compartment and back up to the battery, because remember, this is going to sit right below the battery, and so having a little extra length wouldn't hurt. They didn't have any XT60 plugs when I bought the battery, but they did have these extensions. So it's already pre-crimped. I'm not a battery guy. I'm not an electric guy, but I know how to solder two wires together. So I'm going to cut these off. I'm probably going to cut it in half, right? And so that way, what I can do when I cut these, in fact, we'll just do that right now. There we go. We'll just cut it in half. The reason why I got a male and we needed the female side or the male side, wherever my battery went. There it is. So I need, that end needs to go on the C. And then I needed another end, which I'll do later, to charge it, because I don't have an XT60 plug-in either, and they were completely out of charge plugs. So I'm going to make a charge plug too while I'm at it. But I thought it'd be fun to do a little bit of soldering 101. And seeing as I'm never going to use this plug on anything, I'm just going to cut it off short. Is this okay to do, Four Eyes? Or anybody else with electrics? What does the XT60 look like? That guy right there. That's the male side, and there's the female side. Make sure I'm keeping these straight. So that needs to go there. Don't need that, and don't need that. Okay, I need to get my wire strippers, and I know I got, there they are. This, and this. Yeah. If you don't have one of these, go get them there at Harbor Freight. Third hand. So I am going to clean a little spot off here for you. There's always, not necessarily on my YouTube channel, but on other guys' YouTubes, about how soldering works. And there is quite a bit of soldering on this plane with the flying wires and the throttle linkage if you're running a nitro engine, all that stuff. And if you are new to the channel, the only reason why I'm doing electric conversion on this, if you're watching this in the rerun or whatnot, is because I already got two something extras, a twin something extra that's got two 46AXs and a single one that's got a Super Tiger 51 on it, and I didn't want another nitro powered something extra. So all we're going to do is we're going to find, this is how I find what size wire I have. It doesn't really matter what, but I put the wire up against the holes, and when I can't see the sheathing anymore, then that's where I strip it at, and it works every time. So, second one from the bottom. Okay. Yeah, that's I was doing a little bit of research on it, but that's what I'm under the impression too. It's not like I got a ducted fan or anything like that, you know. Like Tom has a ducted fan. Okay, so we got all those ends stripped out. I'm gonna twirl them. Now don't forget your heat shrink. I'm starting to run out, so I hope I got enough. Yeah, that's about the closest thing I'm gonna have. I need to order some more from my supplier. We're gonna put this as far away from the heat as we possibly can. Nothing worse than getting a really nice solder connection and then finding out your heat shrink, has shrunk down and can't be used anymore. Now you ain't got no heat shrink. Two? Okay. I'm gonna take that guy off. Don't need that. We'll start with the positive. I'll set this guy up in here. Can you guys see this okay? Is there anything maybe I can move it around, or that might look a little bit better. Okay, so soldering 101. Biggest thing is to make sure that you have a clean connection. You do not want acid core rosin on electrical wires. The acid will eat and cause contamination and grain your terminals, which is bad. This is H2O flux paste that I'm using here. I'm going to put a little bit on both connections, on both sides, kind of like that. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. We'll get this set up in the third hands. We'll see why this is so handy here in a minute. I think I need to tighten this guy up a little bit. They're cheap from Harbor Freight. Sometimes you got to mess around with them a little bit here to adjust them and tighten things up to where you can move it. And let's put him out of the way. There we go. Just going to make them right next to each other. Kind of like that. Of course, I got my Matco. I do recommend getting one of these. They're pretty expensive though. Soldering gun. You can get other ones other places. The biggest thing is make sure you got a clean tip. I am heating this up as I set sand on it. If you remember right, we were using this on covering, so it's probably got some plastic on it. But want to make sure the tip's nice and clean. Where's Annabelle? Annabelle is inside watching a movie like she's been doing all summer. I will tell her you said something about it. So make sure we got it nice and hot. I'm going to come in from below, and then we're going to wick in the solder here. You just want it hot enough to where you start seeing solder flow. course, it's going to make a liar out of me. There we go. I don't like it. It's a little cold. We're going to clean that one up a little bit more. You can also use your flux to clean the tip up if you think you got a dirty tip. This is some pretty thick wire, so that's probably why I'm struggling a little bit here with it. That's my tips just getting that dirty. Wow. I think the tip's just getting that dang dirty. I'm just trying to get some solder between the two of them, and it's starting to flow in there. There it goes. You'll know it once you got it, because it'll just start taking it. You know what I mean? If you guys think I'm doing anything wrong, you holler. Or if you got any questions, it ain't gonna go anywhere. Don't slide your heat shrink tubing over too terribly fast. No. I usually have a lighter in there. Barrel back here. And of course, I got the ceiling fan going, so this stuff's from TGK connectors, and it's really nice stuff. It shrinks really down really nice. So let's do the other side. I think I'm going to have to get me some more flux on about at the bottom. Oh, yeah. I like doing wires. I don't mind them. Like I said, this stuff's a little thicker than what I'm used to soldering, so might need to get the gun a little hotter than I normally do. Usually just touch it and it melts. That's generally speaking the idea behind it. But you can also come on, damn thing. There we go. I like that. Hope it stays there. I know you guys can't see nothing, can you? Let's see. Let's try over here. That's a little better. And also use a rag to clean it up. Like I said, just making sure that your tip's nice and clean helps a lot. You know, that's nice and warm. If your solder just sitting there on top, just floating like it's doing right there, it ain't flowing. That's because it's not hot enough. And of course, I have a problem with this thing when you got slippery hands. Come on. Getting cold joints, that's why it's sticking. It's starting to flow. There it goes. Okay. I think I've gobbled that up enough. Yeah, cold solder joints are the worst. Those are the ones that are going to fail on you. They're brittle, and they're not sticking to nothing. It sticks to heat. I'm not an expert on trying to explain how solder works, but I just know that if you get a cold joint, you'll have little pockets of pins in it, and it just looks terrible. A good solder joint is shiny. Now you can see where I didn't hardly get any of the other connectors, so I need to flip it back over. You can get it to the other side here. See, it's already cold to the touch. This might be a resolder job here. Yeah. Folks will clean it. Okay. Yeah, this just ain't. I don't know why this thing ain't cooking this thing on here. So what is the problem? Um, I don't know. I'm not happy with that joint though. I don't know why it's just not soldering correctly. This stuff should have been. I mean, see, that ain't no good. That's junk. Let's start over. I wonder if it ain't the material. I mean, maybe I royally screwed this up by trying to solder the wires together. I couldn't. I was looking on. Well, I know um for just a connector, and everything was out of stock. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if I ain't got just the orange too small for the amount of, because this is big cable. Let's try this. I'm going to try it one more time and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest iron in the world, and it is an automotive iron, so, you know, I don't think it was ever, you know, meant to um, do this size of stuff. I mean, it does get hot. It tip's getting old too. Okay, that one, the positive side came out real nice. It sucked it right in, so I don't know if it's just a. See, I mean, it's taking it pretty dang. Yeah, it's still on. It's at the tail end of it. Yeah, it's doing the same damn thing all over again. I mean, it's still warm. What do you think, Tom? See, it's too cold. Okay. I mean, if I can't unstick that because it's just too cold. It's Yeah, let all the wire get hot. Okay. I might need to get Big Gun out. I don't know if it works anymore. See, it's cold. I mean, that's just. I think we're on to the tip. Ain't It's not. It's not hot enough. The wire's too damn big. Okay. Well, this ain't doing it. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, why is it just not? That positive just took it and it went, and now this won't do nothing. And I don't know if my plug-in one even works anymore. It's been so long since I've used it. Probably can't hardly hear me. I mean, I do have other soldering guns. It's just I don't know how they work anymore. Let's see if this old relic will make any smoke. This one's been sitting up on the bench for a long time. Yeah, but it's been sitting up there for so long. I mean, it's probably been years since this thing worked. We'll see if it takes if it heats the flux up. I think there was something wrong with this one. Yeah, I shouldn't be able to do that. It's getting warm. It's trying. Guesses as to how long this is going to take? Any questions? I don't know. My epoxy's starting to dry. Yeah, the light still works, but it ain't. Yeah. Ugh. All right, let me see if I got on one. I think this is the one I quit using because it would heat up. I don't know if I got one with a good tip in it. That one don't have a tip in it. We'll do that. Uh-oh. What's this? You ever realize that you got a problem when you got crap and you don't even remember that you got it? I think that's still brand new. Let's see. I did tighten those. Yeah, I did. I think that's the one that I worked at that didn't wouldn't heat up, and I worked with it. Let's see if this one works. Hey, light still works. Oh, we got something going on here. This one's been used, but it ain't that old. Old Weller. Uh-oh. It's trying. Oh, look at that. We got smoke. We got smoke. What did I do with the solder? Oh, in my lap. Yeah, it's smoking now. Oh, uh-oh. We might have liftoff. He said heat it up from the bottom. He's definitely getting warm. A lot warmer than the other one. Oh, look at that. It's sucking it up. I know you can't see it, but oh, there it goes. Come on, baby. Hey, look at that. Think that's enough? Yeah, there we go. Yay! And sometimes it helps just to having the right job for the, the right tool for the job. Those old Wellers, man, you can't. I don't even know where I got that thing at. That's like, yeah. I mean, hell, it's even got the. It still has the dang wrench in it. I'm gonna have to remember that I got that. I must have got it at a garage sale or something. Ain't hardly been used. Yeah, it's as long as you can pull on it and it's not gonna pull apart. That's my strength. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this stuff, but I get by. Now, if you get little guys like that where it's kind of up and your heat shrink don't want to, solder's pretty soft, you can usually take and break them down with a pair of pliers to get your heat shrink over it. Of course, I dumped a crap load of solder in there, so well, I know how that's going to get fixed. It's over there. Yeah, Dremel or yeah, it's the ground. Like I said, I know how I'm going to fix it. It's the ground. I'm not that concerned about it. Roast me in the comments if this is wrong. There we go. All right, there's one soldering job done. Yeah, I mean, I already did. Like I said, I could see that it went in, so I wondered. I often wonder that too. Like sometimes I think the ground wire is just a little more difficult, and that you know, yep, exactly. So, anyways, we got that done. This is our using ESC, so I really hope that this works. um, anyways, we're gonna set this guy aside, and let's see, where's my epoxy at? Now that I've made my workbench a complete and utter mess. Did I drop that too? Nope, right here. Okay, this stuff's nice and hard now, so I'll throw that away later. Yeah, she's dry. I gotta remember that you guys ain't up on the pedestal anymore. You can't really see what I'm doing here. There. She's dry. I want to get, an hour and a half already. Like I said, it's amazing how much the little details of these airplanes, like when you get down to the final assembly, how much time you can have in one of these guys. I mean, you can pretty much figure we got 18 to 20 hours or so in the build to get it into an ARF, which is where it's at now. And then we're probably going to spend at least another 20 hours, you know, uh, putting everything together, flying wires, putting the radio in, engine, fuel tank, ESC. stuff like that. You know, just all those little final details. They just take so much time. So, anyways, I want to show you guys how I'm going to do the flying wires, and it's going to start with my little soldering iron, and I'm going to poke the holes in the covering here for my flying wires. I'm going to do them now all at once while I got the iron hot here. You guys have seen me hinge before. You have seen me, run linkages and stuff like that. It's pretty much going to be the same on this guy. Z-bend connectors and stuff. So, anyways, I'm not going to cut you off right now, but I'm gonna do one of these flying wires, and then I'm gonna do the rest of them during the week. If you do one, you're gonna do all of them, right? And then I'm gonna get get all the push rods put in it, or the Robart pin hinges put in. Let's do. We got to do the elevator first, so we'll try to get that done tonight yet. And then, and then we need to wrap the covering around the tail here before we do the rudder. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to have. So if there's anything, do you guys want to see the wheel pants go together? Do you want to see stuff like this, or do you not care? I'm going to put them on. That's going to be also very time consuming to do. Trying to dictate what the last video is going to entail. Probably going to be setting the radio up, getting a receiver in it, watching that prop spin for the first time, setting the rates up, showing how to dial those guys in, all that stuff. I'm not an expert at FR Sky. That is what it's getting for a radio system. Got the receiver right here, and all that good jazz. But if we want this thing done by next week, I'm going to have to keep working on it. Anyways, I better shut my mouth here. So what you're going to get for push rod materials, you're going to get a 256 rod with a threaded end on it, supplied in the kit. And you're also going to get one of these clevises. One's threaded and one's not. I'm not sure how complete my kit is, but it's got these, how Dubro said that they supply the hardware for SIG kits. Well, they did in this one, because it's all marked DB. So these silver ones are soldered. You should show at least one wire installation. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to show this right now. To get one of the legs done. The rest of it's just basically measuring. So you need one of the threaded push rod ends. You need a 256 rod, and then you need one of the ones that solders together. And you also, I can't say enough, if you do not have a Dremel, go buy one. Get a used one. It will change your life if you don't have one. And you can do this, without a Dremel, but it sure does help. So, anyways, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to swap. Oh, I didn't even realize you were in here, Louise. You're redneck. How you doing this afternoon? Anyways, we're going to swap the drum sander. I got an old Black & Decker one. This ain't even a Dremel style, but yeah, get you one. And we want the cutoff wheel. This is a Dubro cutoff wheel. They sell the arbor and some blades in a kit. You can buy additional arbors. Anyways, you're going to find me a flathead screwdriver right there. I'm going to bend this apart. We do? Good. I like my. I've had that damn Black and Decker. I wish I could. I wish they still made them. So, anyways, we're gonna. This is spring steel, so work it a little bit, but you want it to. You don't want it to be on top of each other. You want them to be spread out as much as you can, and you're gonna cut the one off with the pen, and you're gonna leave the one with the hole in it. Okay. Please take safety precautions if you're doing this. Grab this with a pair of pliers or something on the end, stick it in a vise. This thing will grab like you won't believe, and it'll shatter the blade. Put safety glasses on. You don't want one of these in there. Yeah, that's awesome. And anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting it right at the flat spot of here, of the clevis. You can hear my, did I grab the bent one? I did. I got two arbors, and one's bent and one's not. If I shove it down all the way down in there, though, it takes the bend out. It's a little better. It's been around. I'll send my address if somebody wants to send me a new one. No, just joking. I'm going to be looking for a new Dremel here pretty soon. Anyways, we're just going to, I don't know how much you're going to be able to hear on me, but I'm just going to let this rest on here, and I'm just going to let it eat on its own. I'm not going to push. These are not heavy-duty blades by any stretch of the imagination. And like I said, they will explode, and they can send fragments into your eyes and stuff. So, I got glasses on. I know they're not side shields or anything like that. But anyways, see how it wants to move on me? So, make sure you got it nice and secure here. And all you want to do is get this guy cut off. Wow, I do not have it in the pliers correctly here. Let's see if I can. Nothing is going right tonight. There we go. It falls off, and that's what you're left with. Don't touch it. It's hot. I don't have any water around here. Yep, it's hot. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing with the soldered end clevis. Which, like I said, I'm not sure if these were included in the kit because one's black and one's silver. I have no idea. I've had some problems with the hardware in this kit not all being there. And we could go a couple more episodes. While we're waiting for that to dry, the other thing I'm going to do, and I didn't have I didn't see any 256 threaded screws in there, so I just went up to my Dubro hardware and got 256 by half and some lock nuts to secure all this stuff with. We also need to talk about wheels. We might end up doing 2 hours, or maybe I'll go live tomorrow night. What do you guys want to go live tomorrow night after I get back from the flying field? So we cut him off just the same. Yeah. Are they? Okay, so they do have silver and black, so that way you know which is which. So anyways, if you follow the instructions, let me get you back up here again. If you follow the instructions, they're going to tell you to look at cross section F7. You know, this guy right here. And this will show you how long to make your rods. It's very detailed. It's a nice little set of plans here. We might as well use it. So, what I'm going to do here, you probably won't be able to see it too terribly well, but I'm just going to line this up with this guy, and I'm going to cut him a little long. Half-inch or so. Better to have to take some off than to have to try to put some back on or not have a 256 rod to replace it with because you went too short. And then we're going to take this guy. We're going to thread him onto there. Okay. Doesn't matter how far. Put it up against the plans again. And what I'm going to do is go, you can use your own. Don't go so close to the hole that when you bend this up that you're going to have a hard time getting a screwdriver in here. So, you know, I'm going to cover the hole about half up, something like that. And you want these at a 45. Kind of like that. But the plans will show you. And I do remember on my other one that it was more angle than you thought you needed. Kind of like that. And we'll do the same to this guy. Anyways, you'll be able to adjust these a little bit as you. So that's sitting up. That's okay. This needs just a little bit more bend. I'll get you in here in just a second if you give me a minute here. Okay. Like that, maybe. And all I'm doing is I'm just trying to line these guys up a little bit here. Okay. Anyways, we're going to get our threaded or screws here. Don't need the, don't want to assemble them yet. Just want to put them on. So that way they're kind of held in place. Now, if I remember right, my, the holes are too small. So, you're sitting on drill bits. I'm trying to remember what size it was. 3/32, I think. Yeah. Okay. More holes. Let's see how a 3/32 fits. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get you down here some more. Yeah. Especially after you bent them. And they're so dang small. Now, what I'm going to do, and I think I did this on my first one. See how I'm setting this up against the bench flat? And I'm going to hang on to it. And I'm just going to let this drill just kind of eat and run a little bit. Speed that up a little bit. I'm not really pushing too hard. I'm starting to get through it a little bit. Yeah, it grabbed on the bottom. I remember having to do this now. Yep. And I dropped the whole thing. I probably lost the clevis too, which is probably not a bad deal here. Like I said, just be careful. It's thin sheet metal. I do remember having this problem with them. Let's see. Not quite there. The other thing we can do, and I don't even know, I just learned this today. That one looks a little finer. Probably too damn big. Oh yeah, long shot, too big. Anyway, something that spring steel. Yeah, not fun. Something that I learned today is that these Christmas tree bits. Now this is too big. I'd have to try to go find and buy a smaller set. But I was watching Blondie Hacks today. I don't know if you guys ever, if any of you are interested in machining channels, but I don't know, I like her. I've been watching her for quite a few years, and she was drilling through sheet metal today, and she's like, the problem is when you go too fast, and it catches on the back side, and that's why she recommended using the Christmas tree bits to get through them. I'm trying to remember what I could try a 256, yeah. And that may be what I end up doing. Let's see if this will work. Oh, look at that. Finally got through it. But you noticed it fell, and I didn't pull it away. Well, it didn't break. I thought it might have split. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now the plans have the bolts, the threads on the bottom, not on the top. So it's not a bad idea to do that. Anyways, I got plenty of these guys here. I'm not going to spend an hour trying to find the one I already cut. So let's just make another one. No, ideally, what I would do is set this up in my drill press vise. Should be over here somewhere. Wasn't going to realize that I was going to be using that thing today. Of course, you never do. Like I said before, this is kind of the stuff that you don't see. Geez, who was using that? What were they doing with it? Must have had a piece of wood in there or something. Now what I'm going to try to do, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work for me. It probably isn't. Like many other things. Okay. I feel a little better trying to drill through that than trying to hold it with my hand. Let's see if I can get you guys over here. Probably not that well. That's about as close as I'm going to be able to get you. Okay, just wait a minute here. You stay right there. I'll get the bit in here. Okay, you can kind of see there. See, that's way too fast. I don't know if I already got it on the smallest pulley or not. I do. You want to go, from what I understand, very slow. We'll see if this works. And I'm not going to be able to push on it because I got it thread from the bottom. See, something that could take, it should take 5 minutes, is turned it into an hour-long ordeal. I'm going to try to crimp it from the top, and like that. No, I'm not cutting it. I'm trying to put a bigger hole in it while it's still complete, and I can maybe hang on to it in my vise. Yep, I was right. That's how I did it. Much, much cleaner. And now it fits. And now we can cut. That's why, I mean, you can't argue about a good set of tools. Now, if you don't have a drill press, you could definitely go get a $10 vise from Harbor Freight, and use it with your drill, with a hand drill. Boy, these bangs are getting bad. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my angle again. Let's think about this for a minute. We go this way. If you bend it towards the opposite end, then you won't see the ugliness on the bottom. Now I bent that way too far. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Okay, this is kind of what we're ending up with. And like I said, you're going to get to do the same on the bottom. And the only difference is that if you add a auxiliary tail wheel like I got on mine, like that Sullivan guy there, I'm going to go to the back screw here. Now, if you built the kit per recommendations and you got the stock tail wheel, you won't have all this under here. You will have a hole with a 440 blind nut in it, that you installed when we were building the fuselage. And that's where you would go to. But the bottom, they go to that one screw hole right there. Now, what I'm going to do is when I do mine, is I'll take this screw out and I'll put my two clevises, right, one on each end. Of course, I got to cut the pin off, and I'll bolt them up, and then what I'll do is I come under here and solder it. Now on the top, what I did on my other something extra is I didn't trust myself to have this measured out correctly. Now these are it's a little long. I think I'm a little better a builder than I was when I was building that thing. And what I did is I put some a cloth underneath here to protect the covering while I soldered, so that way I didn't have to mark anything. but we're going to see. Now, I got plenty of adjustment down here to go both in and out. So, don't drop those, damn it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Sharpie mark here. And that's going to give me pretty close to where I need to be at, right? And then I can come in here. I can line that guy up. I'll flip it over. I'll put another Sharpie mark there. And now I know where to cut it off at. Because it was a little on the long side. So now, thanks for sticking with me, guys. I really do appreciate it all. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see you later, Louisiana Redneck. We will be back next Saturday for sure. Keep an eye on the channel. Might go live tomorrow. We'll have to see how that goes. Anyways, I'm going to keep things as concentric as I can here. I'm going to put a little bit of flux on this guy on the end here. Don't need that much. There we go. And just like when I do a lot of other things, I want to keep the planes here concentric, right? Let me put that down there. Sorry if I'm shaking you around too much here. It's going to be hard to see that little wire. Anyways, we're going to put this guy on here. Now remember, this end's adjustable, so it ain't got to be perfect, but you want to try to have it as close as you can. Get my little mini torch out here. This guy has had no problems doing this kind of silver soldering or soldering. We're going to touch there. It's going to start bubbling out. You can see the smoke coming off of it. And I'm going to touch on the end of the clevis here. I'm just going to keep touching it until she starts melting. There it goes. And what it's going to do is it's going to draw right in. It'll tell you when it's done. I'm watching it. It's hard to show it on camera, but it's popping. And that's air pockets coming out of the joint. And see now it just fell some. Still got a little bit more to go in there. Yeah. That is extremely hot. I highly recommend. That's what the flux does. It cleans as it heats. So, I've never had one of these joints fail, and I've never went through and sandpapered it or anything like that. If you got to really, I don't know if I showed you guys this or not, but where it is, right there. This is the landing gear for the cauldron, and I had never silver soldered two pieces of landing gear wire together in my life until I did this. And through Josh Orchard helping me in his channel, and that I was able to do this. Now this stuff I did clean. I cleaned it very thoroughly well. This is just music wire. There ain't nothing fancy there. And you know, my solder joints could look better. Don't get me wrong, but what this is on the cauldron. Obviously, the wheel goes on here, and then this is a support piece to keep this from bending, and it gets the plywood cheek. So, anyways, that not as important, but that's what the flux is for. Try to explain it as best as I can. Here's what the other side of the cauldron looks like. That's not done yet. So this leg goes in there, and then that leg comes down back in here to provide additional support. Yeah. But yeah, that's very similar to how you would. And like I said, you can always do a test on this and make a liar out of me, but no, not coming apart. And then what you do on the plane, we got a bunch of guys coming in and out of here. I don't know if they're watching other videos and popping in because they ain't paying attention to the video that they were even watching. And one thing I did learn is that on flying wires, whether they're steel like this, the flying wires on the twin, that's them right there. They are not 256 threaded rods. That is 256 solvent wire, throttle cable wire. That is an electrical connector that the plastic's been cut off of. That's on the other end is the 256 soldered threaded end, and it's like almost like a kit, but it's cable. Anyways, on like this guy, you don't want these to be tight. You want them to work when it's pulling on it, not when you don't want it to be tight all the way around. You could do weird things. So you just want it sitting in here. So when you get done with it, when you get the other three made, right, you don't bolt nothing down, and you make sure that, nothing's in tension. You should be able to play the banjo on this thing, and then you put your lock nuts on. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. So if you're building along with me, go ahead and, take the 3 or 4 hours it's probably going to take you to trim all that and cut all of it and build it and put it together. The other thing that I wanted to get to tonight was wheels. We haven't talked much about wheels. So, what I'm going to do on mine, and I would encourage you to upgrade your tires and your axles and all that on all of your planes, because I like it a lot. But I'll get you down here. No, I am. So the plant is slow tomorrow, and he wasn't sure he was going to even have one run for me. So I came to I talked to my boss, and he said just take the next 3 days off, and then he's going to work me really hard the following Thursday and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tuesday I needed off because I got to go to college to take care of financial aid. Okay, tires. I'm gonna throw a lot of this at you guys tonight. Yeah, there it is. The stock something extra. I checked the plans. 2 3/4 inch diameter wheels. That's what it calls for. Does not come with them. These are low bounces. I did not buy these because they were low bounce. It's just what I have upstairs. Tires can be kind of expensive, but you can go to Dubro and get all this stuff. You know, you can pick whatever tires you like. You can go bigger if you want. You can, you know, go with the chrome ones if you want. I also have these. These are way too big, but because they're the longs, you could probably get away with the shorts. This is how I'm going to attach mine. The factory way works okay. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't even think I have them. Yeah, I do. So you take these flathead bolts and you stick them through the wire, through the landing wire. You put a nut on here. You put another nut on. The first nut secures the shaft onto the you know, onto your landing gear. Put another shaft on, another nut on there, and then you get a lock nut on the end to retain the wheel. Okay, we can do better. This is better. I'll show you how to do one of these real quick. Obviously, they're not going to fit in the hole, because it's the one thing I don't like about these guys is I don't understand as to why the nuts are so dang large on there. It's a 532 wire. So on your Dubro wheels, you'll see fits 5/32 inch diameter axles, 5/32 diameter axles, and then you also need 5/32 Dubro collars. Yeah, they were. If you guys, the guys that have been around the longest and watch a lot of my videos, I think it was last year I lost a tire on the Venture 60 because of these guys. You go with this guy here, and it'll last until the airplane ain't around no more. I guarantee it. So, anyways, but like I said, there's a few things that we got to do here to make sure they work. You're going to realize where my Christmas tree bits come in real handy here. Mainly because these are a pretty decent size, you know, nut or end on it. I don't remember the exact size, but this will tell me if I can read it. I keep telling everybody I'm blind anymore, and I am. I'm just getting blind. 5/16 is, I think, is what I measured on there. So, Christmas tree bit. Get you over here so you can looking at the plane and not me. Getting there. I actually should have started with a one. And let's see if that fits. Not yet. Maybe you just need it cleaned up. No, it still don't fit. Now, if you didn't watch the drill bit video or the drill press video, these are flanged at the end, on the ends, so they make a very, when you get done drilling a hole like that, you'll end up with a little bit of debris. Just go to your next step bit and put a little bevel on there, and it'll finish that off real nice. And now they fit. Okay. If you're installing the wheel pants onto your something extra, this is exact steps that you will take, even if you are installing or you're not installing them. This is fine. And I'm supposed to have a crescent wrench around here somewhere. Everybody hanging in there with me? I don't even know what time it is. Oh, wow, 10 o'clock. There's 2 hours. There we go. This is kind of the pain in the butt part, putting the axles on. I like to use a crescent wrench and a pair of channel or vice grips here. This guy can be a royal pain to hang on to because he's so thin. Cool. Thanks for sticking with me tonight, guys, and especially if you're watching and you made it this far on the replay, man. This is a pretty epic live stream we got going on right now. And I ain't even close to being where I thought I would be at on this one being done. Anyways, it's pretty easy once you kind of have the right technique here but once you hit that lock, man, it's kind of crazy how difficult these guys can be to get on. But like I said, once you're on, and I've even set these up in like the vise on the thin end, and put the landing gear in there and stuff, thread the socket. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you do it. You're probably going to struggle a little bit. But once it's on there, you'll never take this off again. I'm trying to not scratch the paint up underneath here, but if I do, I do. There we go. That's installed. As far as your landing gear wires, aluminum goes. Trying to keep my bench here a little cleaned off. Now, Dubro sends. Oh, help if the bag wasn't all sealed up. Be careful with this. It's got a lot of little pieces in it. Hey, perfect. Now, in every Dubro wheel collar package, you will get this little Allen. I have no idea what size it is. I would highly recommend it. No matter how many of these you get, you put it in a safe spot where you're always going to know where it's at. Oh, that's good 4 eyes, yeah. Yeah, very well. Because they definitely come in handy. I've got a few different sizes, but almost immediately what I'll do is I'll sit here and put these together. That way I don't lose. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the set screw, I put it on the Allen. These will still start. I've never stripped one out using a wrench. You don't want to go in all the way. You want to leave a little bit of room. I told Brian one day, I says, can I come work for Dubro? And he's like, I don't think we're hiring. And I was like, what? You don't need anybody to put the set screws in on the Dubro wheel collars yet? I was like, I'll come do that for 8 hours a day. Okay, got that. Why do they come with 4? Well, you always need one on the inside. Now, if I do plan on running my wheel pants on here, but I'm not sure when I'm going to get them done. But anyways, when you are running the wheel pants, there's a little bit different of a technique putting these guys together. We're going to put one wheel collar on the inside, and then we'll put another one on the outside. And then since we're probably going to be running wheel pants on this, I am going to put the set screws down so we can get to them. Yeah. Yeah, Tom doesn't work tomorrow either. Yeah. Okay, there's a wheel. Yay. We're almost rolling. Anyways, I got the long ones. What I will do tomorrow is I'm not going to use my Dremel on this guy, but I do have a angle grinder next door, and I will take and cut this off a little bit out here, and then I'll take the wheels back off, and I'll bevel the edge and everything and make it look right. Loctite, your preference. It's got the nut. I've never had any of these ever come loose. I've also never had any of these guys come loose, and I know some guys will go in there and they'll flat spot it for the. That's a preference thing. I've never done it. I've had to try to take Loctited wheel collars off, and they're a royal pain, and you end up usually you end up either scrapping the whole dang landing gear and forgetting about it, or grabbing a hold of that with a pair of vice grips and ripping it off of there and destroying the wheel collar. So, I guess to each his own. I'm not going to add Loctite to it, but you can if you wanted to. Okay, there's that. Believe it or not, our hatch is almost dry. You can see how the white, it's still kind of there. Do you guys like my little hand controls for my dog? What else do we need to do? I'm getting tired. Why don't I got most of my loyal viewers in here. Appreciate you guys for sticking around for a little over 2 hours of live stream here, and so I really want to take this to SIG. It's in 2 weeks. We got one more live stream next Saturday. I would like to go over radio installation, getting the motor fired up, charging the batteries, all that stuff. So when I get done flying tomorrow, why don't I just go live maybe after dinner or something like that, 6, 7 o'clock, and I will just keep going on all the little stuff here that we haven't gotten to yet. Hinging later on tomorrow night. If you guys don't mind, I'm usually out here anyway, so that doesn't bother me one bit. You want to do that? 4 Eyes, Tom? Whoever else is in here? Yeah. That sounds like a plan. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Even if you guys don't end up watching or whatnot, or you can't stay long or whatever, I totally understand that. I don't have a lot of live streams myself anymore. Too dang busy. But yeah, I'm ready for this. This plane needs to get across the finish line, and it needs to do it real soon. And also, what I'm going to do is when we do get it done, hopefully next Saturday, and I'm off, Sunday or Monday or something, I'm going to take both the girls out there. One's going to have a camera getting the maiden voyage for a video, and the other one's going to live stream it, probably on the vertical on the phone. So I think I like to do that for the maiden voyage. If it crashes, it crashes, right? Anyways, guys, I'm getting tired. My back's killing me, and you guys have a good night. And if you're watching on the replay and you've made it this far, I appreciate you too, more than you know. So anyways, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll catch you on the next one. Remember, if you can dream it, you can build it.